Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ashok Kumar from Government Women Engineering College Ajmer. This is lecture 2 of Antennas for Mobile Communication System series, and in this lecture 2 we are going to discuss initially about the dipole, monopole and loop antenna. Then further we are going to discuss about the helical antenna. These antenna we have discussed in lecture 1 of this series, and we have find out that these type of antenna or these categories of antenna are being used in mobile communication systems. The following contents will be addressed during this lecture 2 of this series: monopole, dipole and loop antennas, then further helical antenna, then the helical antenna operate in two modes, in which we are going to discuss about the axial mode helix, then the design procedure, and normal mode helix, and some problem based on the helix antenna or helical antenna. The following reference books are considered to prepare the content of this lecture. 2. Monopole, dipole and loop antenna. As we have discussed in the series of wire antennas, in which we have discussed about the monopole, dipole and loop antennas, and these monopole, dipole and loop antennas are most widely used antenna in mobile communication system. So the detailed analysis about the monopole antenna can be seen as given below link, and this is the YouTube video link or my channel YouTube video link based on the monopole antenna, and more detailed analysis about the monopole, dipole and loop antenna, in which we have categorized the infinitesimal dipoles and small dipole, then finite length dipole, then a finite length dipole in which we are taking the length of the dipole equal to lambda by 2 and then lambda by 4 antenna, and then we have discussed about in lecture 5 of this series about the small circular loop antenna. So these type of antenna are or can be seen from this video link, and this is the wire antenna series in which you can see all the videos related to the monopole, dipole and loop antenna. So you can understand what is the process, how we can use these type of antenna in a mobile communication systems. In this lecture 2 of this series, we are going to consider their variant of dipole antenna, in which we are going to discuss about the helical antenna. The helical antenna is one of the most popular antenna because it radiates the circularly polarized wave, and it is helical antenna is reduce the physical size of the wire antenna is to wind it over an imaginary cylinder. As you can see, this is the case of helical antenna, and this helical antenna placed on a ground plane and fed with a coaxial cable, as you can see, and this is coax feed and this is the ground plane, or we can say it's a cylindrical imaginary plane, and this is the wire antenna, and these wires are wind over here. This structure is called a helix. In this figure, a right-handed helix is shown. As you can see, this is the right-handed helix. If the helix is wound in opposite direction, I mean this type of helix, then we can call it is a left-handed helix. In most cases, the helix is used with a ground plane, as you can see, and we can understand the geometry of this helical antenna, and this is a left-handed helical, sorry, this is a right-handed helical antenna or helix, in which the spacing between the turn is s, and the length of the one turn is considered is capital of X, and d is the diameter of the helix. And by considering the geometrical parameters, and we can calculate the circumference of the cylindrical surface C is equal to pi into d, where d is the diameter, and we have considered in this the n number of elements. So we can calculate the unwrapped length of a 1 ton, as you can see in this figure, and this is a 1 ton helix, and we can calculate the 1 ton helix length L from this figure. Here you can see this is the tangential component and this is the vertical and horizontal. So this we have to represent as a spacing between element. I mean one helix it is placed at that point and another helix is placed at that point. Then we can calculate the value of length L by using simple trigonometric geometry, and this simple trigonometric geometry L square is equal to C square plus L S square, or we can say L equal to root of L S square plus C square. So we can say the unwrapped length L for a 1 ton helix is calculated by the expression 1. The another important parameter of the helix is the pitch angle. Here you can see it is called as a pitch angle and it is denoted by the alpha, and it is the angle between the tangent of a helix uh, and the plane perpendicular to the axis of the helix. Here you can see, so this is angle is called as a pitch angle, and this pitch angle can be calculated by using S and C parameters, and it is equivalent to the tan of alpha equal to S by C is equal to S upon pi d, and this is we have represented in expression 2. Further, we can understand if the value of alpha is equal to 0 degree, then the windings is flattened and the helix reduced to a loop antenna of n turns. And for alpha is equal to 90 degree, the helix is the same as a length, but it is a linear or straight wire of length, and which is equal to, suppose n is the number of turns and L is the 1 ton length. In that case, this becomes a straight wire, and the total length of this straight wire, or we can say its linear wire, equal to N is the number of turns and L equal to the length of 1 ton. So we can say the total length N into L when the pitch angle alpha is equal to 90 degree. So we can say that if the value of alpha lies between 0 to 90 degree, then a true helix is formed with a circumference greater than 0 but less than the circumference when the helix is reduced to a loop alpha is equal to 0 degree. Therefore, a helical antenna generally consists of a wire wound in the form of helix placed above a ground plane, as we have discussed. So from this geometry we can also define the definition of a helical antenna, and we can say that it is fed by a axial transmission line with a center conductor attached to the helical and the outer conductor to the ground plane. Here you can see the center conductor is connected to the center element of this coaxial cable, and outer is connected to the ground plane, as you can see in figure 3. So we can say that typically the diameter of ground plane generally consider greater than 3 lambda by 4, or we can say it is not less than the 3 lambda by 4. So from the analysis we can get that this helical antenna can be operated on a different modes, in which we are discuss here two modes, which are axial mode and normal mode. One more it also exists, which is called as a conical mode. So we are not discussing here about the conical mode. So here we are going to discuss about axial mode as well as the normal mode. In the axial mode it is also called a end fire mode due to the properties of radiation properties of the helical antenna is similar to the end fire radiation. A helical antenna radiate maximum energy along their axis. Here you can say this is a left-handed helical antenna, or we can also consider a right-handed helical antenna. In that case, the radiation pattern is same and it's having a one major lobe. Here you can see, and have some minor lobes. These are some minor lobes. This may called be a back lobe, and these are the minor lobes. The axial mode of operation is achieved by choosing the circumference of the helix is around c equal to lambda. Lambda, where lambda is the operating wavelength. So we can say when we are considering the circumference of the helix is the order of lambda, or we can say c equal to lambda. In that case, we are saying that it's operate on the axial mode, and the spacing between the turns s equal to lambda by 4. So we can say these are the two important assumptions through which we can define the characteristics or radiation pattern of the axial mode helix. And further, the pitch angle alpha of a helical antenna when it is operating in a axial mode is lies between 12 degree to 15 degree. So these are the three important conditions through which we can identify this helical antenna or helix antenna is operated on a axial mode or in a normal mode. So if we are taking these assumptions or these parameters and their valuation or their value, in that case we can say the helix antenna is operated in a axial mode. And here you can see this is the amplitude pattern link scale of and it is represented by the maximum radiation intensity when it is denoted by the red color, and this is denoted by the blue color. Here you can see this is the maximum radiation occurs along the z direction, and this is the main beam direction. And further we are going to discuss about the design procedure for a axial mode helix. And there are various empirical formulas that can be used to design a helical antenna when it is operating in a axial mode. In this case, we are calculating some parameters, and in which first is the input impedance, which is nearly equal to 140 c by lambda. Then further we have calculated the half power beamwidth in terms of degrees here, which is equal to 52 lambda की power of 1.5 or 3 by 2 upon c root of n into s. Similarly, we can calculate the beam bandwidth between first nulls, and you can see here we can multiply the expression 4 by twice 2 uh, by 2. In that case, we can calculate the beamwidth between first null f and bw. We can also call it as represented in expression 5. And then further we can calculate the directivity of a axial mode helix, which is calculated by 15n c square s by lambda cube by the expression of 6. And then finally the axial ratio we can calculate by using helical antenna, which is equal to twice of n plus 1 upon twice of n. So these parameter equations or expression represented in 3 to 7 through which we can design a axial mode helical antenna or helix antenna. So here you can see there are two important parameters that plays a dynamic role in axial mode helix, which are input impedance, and second is the axial ratio. So this relation of equation 3 to 7 are valid for, as we have discussed in the previous slide, the apex angle alpha between 12 to 15 degree, and c by lambda ratio lies between 3 by 4 to 4 by 3, and number of turns is required 3, minimum 3, and or we can say n greater than 3. The helical antenna operating in a axial mode produce circularly polarized wave along the axis of this helix. So we can say this is the very important properties of the helix antenna. This property we cannot get or achieved from the loop, monopole, and dipole antennas, and if we are getting from these antenna, then it is difficult to get. So we have wrap the wire antenna in number of turns. In that case we can easily get the circular polarization radiation. If the helix is a right handed, as we have seen in figure 3, here you can see this is the right handed. If it is a left handed, then this type of wrapping is exist. It transmit as well as received a right-handed circularly polarized wave. So we can say if the helix is right-handed, then it receives or transmit a right circularly polarized wave. Similarly, if it is a left-handed one, then it transmit or receive a left-handed, or we can say left circularly polarized wave. So, as we have discussed in equation 3 that the input resistance of a axial mode helix depends on the operating frequency as well as the circumference of the helix. In that case, the input impedance of the helical antenna operating in an axial mode lies between 100 ohm to 200 ohm, and in this input impedance is purely or nearly resistive. So we can say that a coaxial cable with its characteristic impedance of 50 ohm cannot be directly connected to the helix. So in this case, to match the impedance of a coaxial cable, which is standard and it is a 50 ohm, and 50 ohm impedance is matched to the input impedance of helical antenna. In that case, we need a matching device, and this matching device is formed by adjusting the pitch angle of a helical wire at the feed point and the spacing. So these two parameters are playing a dynamic role to match the input impedance of a axial mode helical antenna. If the spacing between elements is smaller, then a large capacitance can be created, and this large capacitance between the wire and the ground plane uh, create or lower the characteristic impedance. So we can say the characteristic impedance of a helix antenna can be reduced by considering or by defining the small spacing between the number of turns. So this create the large capacitance and we can reduce the characteristic impedance. It is also possible that a cross section of the wire flatter to increase the capacitance. This is another important parameter through which we can reduce the characteristic impedance of a helical antenna without going to close to the ground plane. And third method through which we can reduce or lower the impedance, or we can say characteristic impedance of a helix antenna by incorporating a lambda by 4 transformer through which we can uh, reduce the characteristic impedance of the line. So these are the three important techniques through which we can reduce the characteristic impedance. So we can say that the axial mode helix input impedance can be matched by varying these three parameters, maybe the smaller spacing, or maybe the cross section of the wire is flat, and maybe incorporating a lambda by 4 transformer. Further, the application of the axial mode helix. So the radiated field of a axial mode helical antenna are highly directional and circularly polarized, as we have discussed. This antenna is a popular choice for satellite communication in very high frequency and ultra high frequency bands. An array of axial mode helical antenna has also been used for satellite communication to realize a high gain required for this application. So we can say this kind of helical antenna is widely used in satellite communication, especially for very high frequency and ultra high frequency, where the requirement of high directional and circularly polarized antenna is needed. In that case, we are using axial mode helix antenna. Further, we have discussed about the second case, and which is known as a normal mode helix. And here you can see the normal mode helical antenna, or we can say it is a broadside radiation. If the dimension are or compared to wavelength, if we can say d less than lambda and n into l less than lambda. So this is the basic assumption or basic criteria through which we can define the normal mode helix. As you can see in this figure, when the helical antenna operating in a normal mode, it is a minimum radiation. As you can see, this is the axis of the helical antenna and it is having the minimum radiation, but the maximum radiation is occurs normal to the axis of the helix. As you can see, this is the three-dimensional radiation pattern, and here you can see this is the amplitude pattern and scaling from 0 to 1, and 1 is the, and this pattern is a normalized pattern. Here you can see, so we can say this the pattern of this helix antenna, it looks like 8 shape. Here you can see uh, 8 shape helix antenna, and this pattern in a one plane, and in other plane it is looks like a omnidirectional pattern. So we can say the normal mode helix is having the radiation pattern is similar to the monopole antennas, as we have discussed in the wire antenna series of my channel. And the radiation pattern of the normal mode helix, the figure of 8 shape, as you can see here, we along the normal to the axis, and this is the right handed and this is the left handed helix antenna through which we can define the radiation characteristics of the normal mode helix antenna. So the radiation pattern is very similar to that of the dipole of length L less than lambda, or a loop of the radius A less than lambda, as we have discussed in the wire antenna series about the radiation characteristics of a loop antenna as well as the dipole and monopole antennas. And it is observed that the helical antenna is operated in a normal mode only when we are considering the circumference C is equal to pi d equal to root of 2s lambda, and tan of alpha is equal to C upon twice of lambda. So these are the two criteria where d less than lambda and n into L is less than lambda. So through which assumptions or through which criteria we can define the normal mode helix. And the helical antenna again radiates circularly polarized wave. So we can say the and most popular and widely used helical antenna in a mobile communication system is a normal mode helical antenna, because it radiates a circularly polarized wave. Here you can see it is a normal mode helical antenna. Here you can see, and it is integrated on a mobile phone. And here you can see this is a mobile phone and this is a helical antenna, and this helical antenna looks like uh, the figure is circled in this figure 6, and we can say that the normal mode helix antenna is compact and has omnidirectional radiation pattern, and hence it is a very popular antenna for mobile and wireless handset application. So we can say this helical antenna is most widely and most popular antenna that is being used in mobile communication system or in a wireless handset applications, as we have discussed in lecture 1 of this series. Then we are taking one problem based on a axial mode helical antenna, and the given parameters are the directivity, and it is operated on the 2.4 gigahertz, and this 2.4 gigahertz band is a unlicensed band, or we can say it is called as a WLAN band or Bluetooth band, and we need to calculate the input impedance, half power beam width between nulls and axial ratio. So these are the parameters given, and we need to calculate following parameters. So first we need to calculate the wavelength for a 2.4 gigahertz, lambda is equal to C by F. Then for a axial mode of helical antenna, as we have defined the criteria through which we can define it is a helical antenna operated in a axial mode, In that case, the circumference equal to the wavelength c equal to 1 wavelength, and which is equal to 0.125 meter, and the spacing between two conjugative turns equal to lambda by 4, as we have discussed in the previous slides of this lecture, and we have calculated s is equal to lambda by 4. So by using c, s, and lambda, we can calculate the number of turns in a helix, and where the directivity d is also given, and we have calculated in the directivity ratio or absolute value, which is equal to 25.12 d 12, and it is a dimensionless quantity. So we can calculate the number of turns, which is equal to 6.7. So rounding it off to a next higher integer, because it is 6 above 6.5, so we are considering n is equal to 7, and we can say that the helical antenna that operated in a axial mode for a directivity 14 dB is required the number of turns n is equal to 7. So by substituting the value of n, c, s, lambda and d in the equations 3 to 7, then we can get the input resistance, which is equal to 140 ohm, half power beamwidth equal to 39.3 degree, beamwidth between first nail 115 lambda, uh, power of 1.5 upon c root of ns. Here you can see, and directivity we have calculated as already it is given, so there is no need to calculate the directivity of this antenna, because the directivity is given in the problem itself. And the axial ratio, which we have calculated 2n plus 1 upon 2n, that having the value of 1.07. So we can say that the axial ratio for this kind of antenna that is operated on 2.4 gigahertz having value 1, and this is the criteria uh, that we have discussed during the circular polarization analysis. So we can say that this antenna is operated in a circularly polarized mode or circular polarization, polarized wave in a free space. Further, we can calculate the length of a one turn of helix, as we have calculated in equation 1, which is equal to root of s square plus c square, which is equal to 0.1288 meter. Since there are 7 turns in helix, the total length of the wire can be constructed, and which is equal to n is the number of turns and L is the length of one turn of helix. In that case, the total length n into L, which is equal to 7 into 0.128 mm, 88 equal to 0.902 meter. So we can say how we can solve the problem based on the helical antenna. So this is the design procedure that is being used in this problem to calculate or to design a helical antenna operating in a axial mode. These two problems are given to test yourself, and the question 2 is very similar to the problem that is solved in this lecture, and but it is operating on a 5.2 gigahertz and having the maximum directivity 10 dB. In that case, we need to calculate the following parameters, and this is the problem third, and in this problem number of turns is given, and you need to design a helical antenna and calculate the circumference, pitch angle, separation between turns, half power beamwidth and of the main lobe, directivity and axial ratio. So these two problems is given here to test yourself that you have learned from this lecture. Thank you very much for watching this lecture. I hope this lecture is beneficial for you. In the subsequent lecture, I mean lecture 3 of this series, we are going to discuss about more antennas that are being used in mobile wireless communication system.